Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about breakups. I'm going to be giving my advice that I have gained through my experience, things that have actually helped me get through a breakup and kind of change my mindset, because I feel like a lot of breakup pain comes from the way you're looking at it. And that's not to discredit how painful a breakup is. I think it's one of the worst things to feel ever. So today, talking about breakups, I'm going to give some advice from my experience, things that have actually helped me, why I think breakups are more often than not a positive thing, and just some different things that you can take from a breakup that aren't as negative. And I am all for listening to your own gut and following what you feel is right. You know, that's kind of what I talk about almost every fucking episode, is listen to yourself and not some random person on the internet, unless you agree. But don't blindly take my advice, okay? I don't know your situation. I don't know the relationship. I don't know shit. So this is vague. It may apply, it may not. Don't kill me if it doesn't work. So I truly don't think there is anything in life that puts a fire under your ass in the same way that heartbreak does. I think that the jarring, disorienting experience of being heartbroken and everything that comes with that is just one of a kind of pain, and it will almost always forcefully shove you into a new chapter of your life that is almost always a better chapter. And it will make you do things that you never thought you could do. It will make you try things you never thought you'd do, because you kind of just think, fuck it. I think breakups are just one of the most motivating and excruciating things ever. Like, I genuinely think heartbreak is one of the worst things to feel, but the absolute ambition that it gives you is insane. And there is a part of me, I heard a girl say this on a podcast recently, and I was like, I kind of know what she means in some weird twisted way. And she was saying, I kind of want a man to come into my life and fucking crush my heart so that I get so much more shit done. Because when you are heartbroken, not like the first 2 weeks, like I said, but when you're kind of going through the breakup, it's just the amount of time and energy and space that you have in your life that you did not have. It's fucking horrible, but you will get so much shit done. It's insane. And I know you're probably like, I don't want to get shit done. I want Jeremy back. Shut up. But I think honestly, if you're also in that phase where you're thinking, oh my god, what can I do to get them back? Even though it's fucking illogical and you don't even want them back, before you set your heart on desperately wanting this person back, give it a minute. Give yourself the chance to start a new chapter. And you might actually realize this is fucking great. Like, fuck Jeremy, you know? Because I know when I've only gone through 2 proper breakups. I would maybe say 3, but 2 that like count on paper. And you go through this phase after, it's called the bargaining phase. I don't know who came up with that, but it's like some breakup theory about the different stages you go through, where you are just like, oh my god, I need them back. Like, I'll do anything. I will literally sell my kidneys to get this person back. It's just the withdrawals. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you go through this phase where it's all about getting them back. And I think honestly, after that phase ends, I think this is usually when your life starts to feel nice again. Like, once you've ended this relationship, but you have also dropped the rope in the sense that you stopped like trying to kind of fight for something that you probably logically don't even want back. Okay, so we're going to talk about my first piece of advice. Like I said, I think one of the most irritating parts of going through a breakup is the advice is all just so cliche and irritating, and it sounds like a broken record, and none of it feels like it does shit. You know, dye your hair, cut a fringe, get a dating app, you know, get a tattoo, fuck knows, you know what I mean, all of this cliche shit. I just remember from my experience when I was going through a breakup and I would read this, I would think, the person who wrote this seems like they've never gone through a breakup in their life. What are they on about? It felt like this person clearly has no idea what I'm going through, no idea what I'm feeling. They don't get it. My friends don't get it. My parents don't get it. No one gets it. It feels like that. And you think that your breakup is the exception to all of these kind of generic pieces of advice. My first piece of advice is you need to realize, and I'm saying this from a place of love, okay, that your breakup is not the exception to all of this generic shit. Your breakup is just like everyone else's breakup. You might think this is generic advice for everyone else's breakups, but mine's different. And I think the more that you convince yourself that your breakup process is different because no one understands the dynamic you had with your boyfriend, no one understands how perfect you were together or how amazing he was or whatever reason you have, I think the more that you convince yourself that, yeah, sure, maybe everyone else's breakup needed to happen, but mine didn't, you know? The harder you convince yourself of that, the harder you're making it for yourself. I think that narrative that this breakup is special needs to go, because I understand that whoever you're with was special and you're special and we're all special. But a breakup's a breakup. Sorry. And I think another issue with this mindset that I can almost guarantee everyone will go through in a breakup, you always go through this mindset of like, this is the exception, this is the only man that is for me, blah, blah, blah. You get into this mindset of like scarcity. I just think when you enter that territory, you're making your own life worse. The more that you convince yourself of this, the more you're thinking this is the only man you're ever going to meet or love. It's just one of those things where you feel that way until you don't. You feel that way about them until you just don't. You know, I think all of the chemicals and shit in your brain, they, after not being exposed to this person anymore, not talking to them, not seeing them, that all those kind of chemicals and that delusion runs out because it's got nothing to feed on anymore, because you haven't seen the man in months or whatever, that you have no option other than to see this situation as what it was. I don't think they have to have been like an awful person for you to hit a point where you just kind of, they come off the pedestal a bit. And I think you realize that what makes a person special to you a lot of the time and that important, and you put them on that pedestal, the energy that you put into that person is what made them so special to you. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily that this person was better than every other man. It's that you chose to put your energy into them and you built them up. And then they kind of come off the pedestal and you're like, shit, you know, that's just a man. That's just a random guy, you know? He's not necessarily any better or worse than the next guy. He's just a generic man now. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, back to my first piece of advice. Do not convince yourself that you are going through some unheard of, unrelatable experience. You're not, okay? You're going through a breakup and people have felt this for years and years and years and years, and it's a very relatable experience. Like, no one can relate, no one understands. We all understand. Anyone who's been through a breakup knows exactly what you feel, okay? We all feel the exact same way about our ex when we're going through a breakup. I personally think you should lean on that fact, not see it as like that's like insensitive. Do you know what I mean? But lean on it in the fact that we've all gone through it and we've all come out the other side and we're all fine, and we all choose to get back into new relationships all the time. So as much as it's fucking horrible, the fact that everyone that you look at in like every restaurant that you go in, every table, is filled with individuals with their own breakup stories from their own partners that they loved and they cared about, and everyone has moved on and they're on their like fourth partner and we're all fine. Do you know what I mean? Having that to lean on, that like this is a universal experience, because oh my god, could you turn yourself into a miserable wreck if you just sit and throw yourself a pity party for like months on end? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know everyone takes a different amount of time, but I have known people who just have a mindset of like, the worst thing in the world has happened to me and I will never get over it ever. And then you're choosing this pain. Do you know what I mean? It hurts, but you at a point can choose to move on. You can. That's how everyone does it. They just make a fucking choice to be like, I have to move on. You could truly make yourself miserable for years if you do that. Like, please just don't do that to yourself. You don't need to do that. My next point It's very similar to that point, so I'm going to keep it short, but it was kind of worth making a separate point of it, is that you need to drill it into your thick skull that you will meet other people. You will love other people. You will date other people. You will think other people are hot. Okay, this isn't the only person you're ever going to be attracted to. You will have sex with someone else. You will meet someone else's parents and have that whole, fuck, I'm nervous, I hope I make a good impression, like what if they don't? You will go through all of it again, okay, if you want to. I think the only people who don't have that happen are the people that don't want to, because I do honestly think a lot of it comes down to choice. Like, I think a lot of people choose not to move on. They choose not to let go. They refuse to do any of that. And then they suffer for a long time. And if you want to do that for yourself, to yourself, then do what you want. But I think that can often freak people out. I know that freaked me out, where I'd see people that were just still stuck in this place of like, they haven't even moved on slightly and it's been ages, and I'd be like, fuck, is that gonna be me? Like, what? But I do think a lot of it comes down to choice. Like, if you choose that you want to move on and that you'd like to meet someone else at some point, and that you'd like to, you have control over a lot of this. Do you know what I mean? And if you would like to move on, you can choose to do that, okay? It's in your hands. You know, it's not like this person that you were with has the power to stop you from moving on. I don't care who they are. Like, I don't care who they are. I don't care if you have a kid with them. I don't care if you share a business with them. I don't care if you share a house and have a mortgage or whatever the fuck, however serious it was. You always have the ability to move on and to love someone else. Like, you can always do that. You could be in 500 relationships if you wanted to. Like, there is no lack of people out there, and I know that it feels like it a lot of the time, but there is no lack of people, and there is no lack of people that would want to date you. I don't care who you are. There is no lack of people that want to date you, okay? You have the ability to meet someone and to fall in love with them and to date them. You've already done it. You have the ability. You know, don't fall into the hole of convincing yourself that this was like your one chance and you fucked it up, and that you're never gonna find anyone else interesting again. Because for me, I don't know about you, but my issue, weirdly, was not ever like, what if no one finds me interesting? What if, you know, I can't find anyone that wants to date me? And that's not like an egotistical thing. I was just more like, I feel like there's always people that are interested in everyone. Like, I'm not worried that no one's gonna want to date me. And I was more worried, like, I don't know who I'm gonna find that I'm gonna want to fucking date. What if I don't find anyone interesting again? Because I don't find a lot of people like I want to date. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I thought that after my first relationship, and then I ended up with someone that I found really interesting after that. And it's just like, it's one of those things that doesn't make any sense. Like, of course, at some point, you're going to find someone that you're interested in dating. At some point. Like, you're not the exception to that either. Like, I think it helps to see yourself as one of everyone else with breakups. Like, this breakup isn't any different to any other breakup. You're not any different in the sense that you can't meet someone else. Like, singling yourself out, I think, is the worst thing you can do. Because it's like, you see all your friends get broken up with or break up with people, and do you ever think they're not gonna ever meet anyone ever again? No. But we just have a tendency, I think, when it comes to us, to think, yeah, they'll be fine, but like, I'm fucked. But you're not fucked. No one's ever fucked. But zooming out, seeing the bigger picture and trying to be as stoic about it as you can, like, I know I probably sound like a cold-hearted bitch being like, just be stoic about it. Like, but honestly, that is the fucking key, I think. These things that I'm saying, these are things that help, or helped me. I don't know. You know, dyeing your hair. Honestly, that is probably one of the only cliche things that I'm like, fucking what? It's like changing your appearance in some way where you feel like you've killed the old version of yourself, and you're like, they don't even know this person anymore. That does help, whether it's dyeing your hair or like changing how you do your makeup or like changing your style. You don't have to do anything permanent if you don't want to. Okay, my next point is focus on what you want to be different in your next relationship. I think this is so helpful because not only are you reminding yourself of the things in the last relationship that didn't actually work for you, that you're conveniently forgetting, but you're also kind of getting excited about the thought that, oh my god, I can meet someone where they have these things. And like, the more I'm writing this list of things that I'd like to be different, the more I'm like, where is this man that fits this sheet? Because fuck, and he exists. And I think that is kind of exciting. It gives you hope when you're going through a breakup to kind of focus on what you would like in your next relationship that you didn't get from this person. You know, maybe your partner was really emotionally immature. Maybe they never made time for you. Maybe they went out and drank all the time. Maybe they had no goals or ambition. You know, maybe they didn't communicate at all, which is quite common with men, I found. Like, a lot of my friends, like, they break up and then they're like, this person never told me what they were feeling or thinking. I think, I don't know if this is stereotype, I don't know. I've found this in my experiences, is all I'm saying, is often I find girls a lot of the time that are dating men just are like, this man has never learned how to express anything. And I, you know, partially that's shit for men, you know, that's not something that they're necessarily taught, but it's just like exhausting as a girlfriend, is all I'm saying. And like, trying to read someone's mind in a relationship, I'm sorry, but that is not your fucking job. You're an adult. That's a fucking man. Like, I'm sorry. Also, I know that I'm just talking about men, but like, this applies to anyone. I'm just talking about men because I'm a woman who's dated men, and a lot of my audience is female, so. But like, making a list of things you want to be different in your next relationship, even if it's still kind of fresh, and as you're writing the list, you're still half telling yourself in your head that they weren't that bad, and you're writing the list and you're thinking as you're writing it, wait, these are not valid reasons to have ended it. Why did I end it? They were so great. We've all been there, okay? That's just a sign that it's still quite fresh. That's not a sign you should go back to them, okay? If you're writing it and you're thinking they weren't half bad as you're writing it, keep writing it, okay? Keep going. Give it a month and then try again as well. And like, I bet that feeling has faded a little bit, just like 1%, realizing that you could be with someone who is more on the same page as you, just as a person. Maybe you could be with someone who understands you better, someone that communicates better, someone who thinks of more creative dates and shit. You know, that, even something like that, it's like, you could be with someone who really tries, or someone that you can have better conversations with, better sex with. And it's hard doing this when you're not really putting a face to the list. It's hard to believe that at some point, you know, you'll be sat next to this person and you'll feel all calm and safe and everything will make sense and you'll see why everything else needed to go the way that it did. You know, it's hard to envision that happening, but all will make sense. All will be revealed at some point, you know? And like I said, a lot of it's a choice. It's the same as like choosing to forgive someone. Like, I'm not even talking about breakups anymore, but I guess it kind of relates. Choosing to forgive someone, or choosing to let go of someone that's hurt you, or choosing to accept people for who they are. Like, we spend a lot of life having to just choose to accept shit or to move on from shit, and like, a lot of it is in your hands. And I think with this, again, it's hard to maybe envision this person, but like, choose that this is what's going to happen for you. You're going to find a relationship that works for you, and if that's what you want, then you'll get it, and that's what's going to happen. Again, this is annoying advice, but if you've had a relationship before, like, can you not see in hindsight now why that didn't work? Because you might think with this breakup, I did, like, it was perfect. You thought that was the last one. Like, come on. These things just take time and perspective and hindsight, and it just reveals itself in time. Do you know what I mean? But like, it will. Okay, I've got 2 pieces of advice left. This one might be the harshest one for a lot of people. So, emotional trigger warning, potentially. Especially if you were the one that got dumped, okay? A person that doesn't want to be with you is not your person. A relationship is not the right relationship unless both people want to be in it. That is the bare minimum for a relationship, is that both people are keen to be in this relationship. If this person doesn't want to be with you, this is not the relationship for you. This is not the person for you. Your boyfriend is not your boyfriend unless he wants to be your boyfriend, okay? And I know this is harsh because if you've been broken up with, you might really feel like this is your person. But if this person has chosen to not be with you, obviously there is a lot of nuance to all of this. But I don't know your breakup and who this person is and why they are the way they are and why you are the way you are. I don't fucking know. But as a general rule, if someone doesn't want to be with you for any reason and they have ended this relationship, they're not the person for you. They don't want to be with you. Oh my god, I feel awful saying that. I feel so bad saying that. But it's just one of those things where no matter how much potential you think this could have had if they did want to be with you, or if something was different and then they did want to be with you and then it could have been really good, that's not what happened and that's not what's going on. And I'm saying this because I've seen enough of my friends be fucking delusional, and someone will break up with them and they will spend fucking years being like, that was the love of my life. And like I said, 1% of people, maybe. But again, I think it's choice. Like, you choose who the love of your life is. You choose who you want to be with. You make the relationship work, and you both have to do that. If you're not both doing that, that's not the love of your life. I don't think it's like some soulmate-y kind of thing. And like, I don't know. I believe in soulmates in the sense that I think there's loads of them. Friends, family, relationships, whatever. Where you just are really like, you kind of are so compatible that it's kind of freaky. I think there's tons of people like that. I just think I've seen enough of my friends do this that I had to chuck it in there. I have seen my girlfriends obsess over guys that cheated on them, broke up with them, you know, kept it in a situationship level or whatever, and never actually committed to them, treated them like shit or strung them along or whatever, like literally slept with other people. And some girls will sit around and be like, oh, Jeremy. I don't know who Jeremy is. Like, I don't know why I'm using this name. But like, please don't do that, because I've seen people spend years doing that and it's like, this guy is not thinking about you. I personally would never really want to be in the territory with a man where I like him a whole lot more than he likes me. Like, I think that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous in the first place. But you know, I've been there. I have been there, but I can tell you, you look like a clown and I look like a fucking clown and all my friends knew it. Do not obsess over and daydream over, first of all, anyone. It's a fucking man, I don't care who he is. For someone that A, doesn't want to be a boyfriend, and B, doesn't treat you with respect, okay? These are the basic things. Treats you with respect and wants to be with you. And sometimes the respectful thing for them to do is to leave your life. Do you know what I mean? And maybe they were doing the right thing by leaving because they knew they were going to treat you like shit or something like that. Like, I've experienced that too. And to just sit around and paint this into something that it isn't is not only going to make you feel like shit and keep you stuck in this delusional place for ages, but it's also like, this person actually did the right thing. Like, let them do the right thing. Don't beg. Oh my god, please. I've also seen my friends do that where they like, someone's blocked them on everything. Oh my god, I've also done this, but not for a long time. And they will find like the one fucking platform that they haven't blocked them on and message them like, please meet me. And it's like, please don't fucking do that. Like, please don't do that, because you look silly and you will always, speaking from experience, look back on that and be humiliated and feel like you want to vomit at the thought of yourself being that desperate, okay? I actually can't still get over the fact that there was a version of me that existed that was that desperate for anyone. Like that. Ugh. Please don't do that. Please don't do things you're going to regret. In any breakup, you're going to do something you're going to regret at some point. You know, maybe you'll text them if you're drunk or something once or something. You know, there's a certain amount that's like, okay, we've all done that. But please know where the line is. Give your phone to your friends if you know you're going to do that, okay? This point is just, please don't be a fool. Please don't be a fool. Soak in the perks of being single, especially like if you're a single girl in your 20s. There's honestly not much better, okay? It's not a hardship. I'm going to make a different episode on something else to do with dating. I honestly have tons of video ideas for dating, relationships, breakups. I don't know why, I'm so fascinated by it, because it affects people in ways where people just would never be a certain way or do certain things until love comes into the picture and everyone just goes insane. I just find it really interesting. So I have a lot of videos and episodes coming up about dating. I'll try not to do them all in one, because I don't want to become a dating coach, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I'm not qualified. But like, the fact that you're single right now, I know you might not want to be single, but you're gonna be in a relationship again at some point, like I said, and you won't be single, and this chapter of your life will end. It will be gone. You'll never get it back. So don't waste it sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, please. You know, try and enjoy it. Try and focus on the perks, because there's perks of being in a relationship and there's perks of being single. There's downsides to being in a relationship. They're all relative. So enjoy what you have right now that you won't have when you're in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Whether that is the freedom with your time, not having to tell anyone what you're doing, having the bed to yourself, your schedule is completely yours to control. You don't have to consider anyone else. You can watch what you want. You can date who you want. Like, it's honestly not a hardship to be single. It's really not. You will be in a relationship again, and try and have this single chapter of your life, something that you'll look back on fondly and be like, I had a nice time. I really learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. Try to make something of it, because otherwise you'll be back in a relationship and then, I don't know, you're not experiencing anything else. You know, I think it's good to embrace the relationship you're in, embrace the one you're not in, embrace being single, embrace it all of it. Okay, and my last point is, do not underestimate the impact that pure psychological attachment is playing. It's playing such a fucking role. Please do not think that it's all emotion based. It is so in your head. We are literally wired to get used to things, to crave certain things that made us feel good, to crave dopamine and all of these things, and we're wired to avoid change and discomfort and pain. Okay? And breakups are tricky, because not only are you going through emotional withdrawals and emotional pain and sadness, but you're also kind of trying to break a fucking addiction the same way you would to like a drug. You're trying to do these things at once. That's why I feel like breakups are a unique kind of pain, because it's not just sad and it's not just addicted, it's everything in one, and it's a lot. But I do think, to an extent, intellectualizing the process, I found that a little bit helpful. Now, you can over intellectualize shit to the point where you're not letting yourself feel things, and I think that that's something I've noticed recently that I think I do. And I don't know how I didn't notice that, but like, I would do that in the sense that if something hurts, I'll just like work out where it's coming from and what's causing it, and like, rather than like feel it. I don't know, I'm like, oh, I can just like go into therapist mode to myself rather than actually just be sad. I don't know. But you know, you want to feel your feelings, but also like intellectualize it slightly. Try and keep the logic muscle, you know, moving. Don't fucking lose it for too long, because it will be gone for a while. But your mind is not necessarily on your side here, you know. With breakups, your mind is not on your side, and it would be so much easier if it was, but it turns against you and it becomes your enemy, and it starts trying to convince you that you want things that aren't good for you and that you don't want. And you can just go in that cycle over and over if you don't at a point become stronger than your brain, you know, and stronger than your wants and your cravings, and step up and be like, I'm actually choosing that, I'm ignoring you. You have to get to that point of discipline with breakups and with lots of things. But I think breakups are a really good example of, your brain will try and make you weak and like succumb to every urge and craving that you have. Hence, oh, I should text him, I'm drunk. That's because you've had a drink, and now your brain is thinking, oh, she's vulnerable. She's vulnerable. She's no longer thinking logically. She's a bit tipsy. Now we can fucking like get her to contact. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to put your brain in its place. Like, you're the one in control, not your fucking hormones. Do you know what I mean? But I think if you get in your head that this is not just emotional, a lot of it is about neuroplasticity, and you need to just start rewiring shit, you know, get into researching that. I think then you start to feel like you're back in control a little bit. That helped me anyway, because I think a lot of what is so kind of stressful about breakups is you feel like you're out of control and you're like, this just hurts and I can't do shit about it, but you can. And I think that is something that really helped me, is stepping into a place of a bit more control and a bit more power and being like, okay, what's going on and why? This is not all about the guy that you were with. He could have been anyone. Like, I'm sorry, Jeremy could have been Thomas and you'd still be heartbroken. Okay, I am gonna be quiet now. I've talked for like an hour and a half. My god. I am very sorry if you're going through a breakup. I love you. I have no doubts in my mind that you will be completely fine. Give it time, look after yourself, know when to be soft and gentle with yourself and when to be stern and disciplined with yourself. You need to learn when to do which one. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just need a hug, okay? Hopefully this video felt like a hug. I feel like it felt mean, but I don't think it did. I'm coming from a place of like a bestie. Do you know what I mean? And I will talk to you next week.